All right, welcome back to Deck Tech. What are we doing? Obviously, it's monoGREEN. We're in the midst of historic Pauper ladder. We're 3-2. We started off great, had a rough couple weeks. The last 2 weeks, we played two decks where I think green was still overall a favorable matchup. We had a little rough luck against Grixis Zealot, and not getting out fast enough, not being on the play more often than not, and just kind of got, didn't get our protection when we needed it, and we lost that week. Next week we played, the most recent one was against Black White Zombies. I think I played poorly. I still think green is a favorable matchup there as well. But I think my opponent got a little too wide. I played a little too cute, and we just didn't get there. So, sometimes you lose some of those things. I think overall green's still in a really good place to be competitive in the meta. You don't necessarily have to play this version, but this is the one that I'm most comfortable with. Let's break it down. It's really what I call on curve aggro. I don't really call it just straight up aggro. It's certainly not stompy, as one would traditionally know it in Pauper, because it's not low to the ground enough. This is really meant to accelerate your curve. You want to land a 1-drop on turn 1, a 3-drop on turn 2, a 5-drop on turn 3 is kind of the typical trajectory for the deck. And so you want to be bigger earlier and just kind of ride that out to a victory. How do we go about doing that? We've got Elvish Mystic, which now makes the deck possible. We've got Land War Elf, Old School Mana Dork. We want to get into Gnarlid Colony on turn 3. If you kick this, its Arena Rebalance is bonkers because 5 mana for a 6/6 trample is just amazing, gives everything else trample, so you'll see that there is a 1/1 counters kind of mini theme in here. Null Hunter has that. It can get out of control if games start to go longer. If it attacks, more than once, it's gonna start causing problems for your opponent if they can't get rid of it. You got a couple of ram throughs that give you a little bit of reach, remove problematic threats. Winding Way is back in to help replenish our deck because we noticed that we were kind of running out of steam, even though we're very creature heavy. We get into a top deck mode, we don't have a way to replenish and get a lot of cards in hand. That can be a problem, so we're going to get this back in and see how this works. Contagious Vorak now in, great card, helps smooth out our lands to help us keep growing, solid 3/3, and it also plays into the proliferate theme a little bit. Jewel Thief, just all around great 3-drop. Again, Vannerhide, just an all around great 4-drop. 4/4 for trample. If that's the worst that you're going to play, great. Most of the time it's going to be a combat trick. You reinforce, can't be countered, gives you a permanent 2/2, and then maybe you can play it later for its scavenge. In now is Jukai Preserver. This was typically in decks past. It was Bayou Groff. That is gone. I think Bayou Groff is geared more for a low to the ground style deck, and this just isn't it. I tried it for quite a while. It was good for a while. It could catch people by surprise, but the meta has shifted. People are running correctly. If they have access to sacrifice removal, innocent blood, Dead of the Kami, things like that make you pick something to sacrifice, and if you kill off a creature, leave your Groff, your Snakeskin or your Tameo Safekeeping isn't going to help you, and it's really going to slow you down if you invest into Groff and get it blown out. So we're off that. We're going to give us something that helps us get a little bit wider, and at worst it's a 4/4 for 4, so we're okay there. Your other 3-drop, I want to say 3-drop because it's typically when you play it, is Great Horn. You're going to put this over your elf. If you have to play it later on just to get wide and get more creatures on the board, a 3/4 for 4 is still not bad. It's a little bit, obviously not as good as a 4/4 with trample, but it's fine. Typically, though, it's going to help you accelerate, make your elves a little bit more threatening and keep going. And then in the deck, we've decided to try Dread Linahorn. It is obviously really big. It's bigger than most things you're going to see in the format. It's got a little combat trick, so you can draw it up with Winding Way. Yes, the combat trick is super telegraphed. But, we're going to give it a run. We have a really high creature count. I think we're at 33 creatures on this one. We only need 19 lands, which is good. You can see that we've got 1 plains, and we're back with the Thriving Grove. So this is something that I want to explore more. It's been really working well in some of the testing that I've been doing to give me access to other colors in the sideboard, and you'll see where this comes in when we take a look at it. But that's the overall style of this deck. Again, like an on-curve aggro where you're just trying to accelerate your curve, play a bigger threat on 2 than what your opponent can put out, and then just keep pressure on by building that board, putting out big creatures, maintaining that board lead. In the sideboard to help us do that, we've got Tameo Safekeeping. If we need to go up against a heavy control matchup that does have targeted removal, or if they are running a bit of Death Touch, things like that, we're going to bring in Tameo Safekeeping. We're going to make sure we protect our dudes, keep our board presence. We'll get back to Ray of Revelation in a moment. Thwart the Enemy, also good against board stalls or other decks that can go wide and mount like a big offensive creature-based attack. Think Kiln Fiend, think zombies. Also works well against Zealot. We didn't get it at the right time, but that's also very good as well because the Zealot does its damage from obviously a creature, and if you prevent them from dealing damage, they don't have Death Touch, they come across and then they do nothing, you crack back for the win. Burn decks are getting faster, so we do need a little bit of life gain. This is where Life Goes On comes in, along with Tameo Safekeeping. Ram Through, no real surprise there. It's going to help get you a little extra reach if your opponent puts out little creatures that you can just punch through and deal extra big damage, or remove problematic threats. And then the big addition, I think, and why we're doing the Thriving Land is Ray of Revelation. Mono Green does have answers to enchantments. However, I want something that is, one, it has flashback, which is important. So in Winding Way, where I'm trying to dig to threats and remove enchantments, I can Winding Way past it and still play it on flashback. So that's very important. 2, it gives me a lot of removal. I mean, I'm going to be able to remove effectively up to 8 enchantments. You want to have a lot of opportunities to get rid of things when you're playing against Hexproof, which Ethereal Armor is a very serious card. It hasn't popped up yet. I haven't faced Hexproof in at least 2 leagues now. I have placed White Weenies. And White Weenies, White Flyers, they're going to run typically Ethereal Armor. They're going to load it up and get one big dude. And, they usually have protection for the creature, but they don't have protection for the enchantment. And when you've got a lot of enchantments that are fueling that Ethereal Armor, you remove it, and it just makes the creature pretty pedestrian and able to let your bigger guys just naturally do their thing. So it hits both the white deck, which can be a problem since that is one of the aggro decks that can get under me, and then it hits Hexproof, which again we have yet to see, but you have to keep in contention. There's plenty of other things I want to put in here and try and mess around a little bit, but I think this is what we're going to go with this week. Not really sure what we're going to face. But that's the progression of the deck. Hope you enjoy it. We'll see about other green style decks and ways we can play them in the future after this league is over. We've got a bye this week in Explorer, so not really much to do there. But whatever I play in Explorer, we'll do a deck tech on that. And then we'll get my match a little bit later today, and we'll see how we did. So hopefully you enjoy this, and we'll catch you again soon.